Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we discuss a sweet spot diver that many fans of the genre do not know about. It's a fact that for many years, the 45mm Blancpain 50 Fathoms 5015 was thought to be too large for many. And even with the 42.3mm 5010, many still said, I wish it were smaller. But there are 50 Fathoms series that are 40.3mm and even 38mm in diameter, and these are not ladies' watches. This is the 50 Fathoms Bathyscaphe 38, reference 5100. It was launched in 2017, and it's rarely seen. So it is 38mm in diameter. Taking a look in profile, it's 44mm lug-to-lug, and it's only 10.9mm thick with a 20mm spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist. This steel watch wears beautifully. Even with the strap not broken in and softened up, you can easily see this wears well. This is great for men. It's great for women. It's great for people who like smaller sizes. And historically, if we go back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the 50 Fathoms was made in so many different styles and sizes that this is not altogether untrue to history. This is just a different take and something very consistent with the heritage of the model line. So you can see being thin, it'll easily fit underneath the dress cuff, and the lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. So yeah, 13.5cm circumference wrists, you are welcome to jump on this thrill ride. We have the sailcloth strap, which a lot of folks find indispensable and inseparable from modern 50 Fathoms references. I've seen these straps last 10 years. They're basically indestructible. They are bolstered to give them some volume. This one's dark blue. You can see it features a folded edge, monotone stitch, and then lined with rubber on the bottom to protect the material from the biological influence of the wrist, but also to be a little bit more supple on the wrist itself. You could feel the advantage of that rubber lining when you're wearing it on a hot day. Now we have a little Blancpain buckle that is made of steel and stylized and satinated, and we have a case that's very simple. The Bathyscaphe, as we know it today, debuted as a model line in 2013, and the idea was to have something that's more historically themed than the more luxurious and modern 5015. So here we get these very narrow case band profiles, we get squared off lugs, minimal beveling, a big crown with no crown guards. And then we've got this bezel that has a very sharp knurling, which I love because small, sharp knurlings are easier to grip. Let's listen now. Oh yeah, a dive bezel can make or break a diver, and this is made in the shade. This is the best bezel, the 5100, of any 50 Fathoms model. It's 120 click, but the feel and the sound set it apart from all of the other 120 click 50 Fathoms bezels. Now we've got a ceramic insert, so it's going to be scratch resistant, and then all of the metal is co-molded. That's actually metal molded into the ceramic. It can never separate. We got a little luminescent bezel pearl there. You could see we have baton style, actually baton syringe hybrid hands. They're vintage themed. Use the bezel as your impromptu dive timer, and it's great because you can also use it in the light of day, because note it is fully calibrated military style every individual minute, so it's easier to use than a chronograph, easier to read in my opinion. It doesn't have the big downstream service costs of a chrono. Take another look at the dial in the dark. Notice the seconds hand is luminescent. Not every diver does that, but once you're down in the depths past the ambient light, you really do need to know your dive watch is running if you're relying even as a backup dive timer. So luminescent seconds hand, I love. We have these cabochon style primary indices, and then we have dart style or cropped dart style indices. Take a quick look and you can see a lot of the features of this dial have been blackened and polished for better contrast. We have a sunburst blue metallic grain that radiates out from the center, and then the movement is a legacy piece from the Frédéric Piguet days, back when Blancpain and Frédéric Piguet were brought together by the proprietors of both Bezel and Piguet in the 80s. Well, they've remained Siamesed to this day, with the Piguet manufacturer now manufacture Blancpain. But because the movement architecture goes back decades, the one feature it does not have is a hacking seconds function, though those who really know this movement realize just a little bit of back pressure can stop the seconds hand right where you want it. Now, one feature it does have is a quick set function for the dates. You can rapidly and easily do that. And didn't they use a very serify font for this? There you go. Okay, turning it over, we can see that caliber 1150. Now, twin barrels. This movement was originally designed to be fine, thin, capable of driving complications, and a long power reserve. And to this day, its 100-hour power reserve is still impressive. Two barrels here. We got a 3 hertz beat rate. You can see the regulator has changed over the years. Now it's free sprung and 6-position adjusted. 6 positions is superlative, one more than a chronometer. And then the free sprung architecture means it can be adjusted precisely, but also it is very shock resistant. It has a silicone hairspring, making it robustly anti-magnetic, and then all of this pivots, I believe, on 28 joules. You can see we've got a rotor that features several different finishes. We've got satin channeling around the edge, snailing on the absolute outer face of the rotor. We have media blast internally and then beveling on the side. The ball bearing actually has a sunburst at center. We have stripes or Côte de Genève across the bridges. We have bevels that are beautifully mirrored and rounded. They are finished off mechanically, but to a standard of mechanical execution of which Audemars Piguet and F.P. Journe can only dream. 2 barrels, you can see, giving it that long power reserve. And then the architecture of the bridges is actually quite attractive overall, with some engine turning on the base plate and where they are visible satination on the wheels with polished screw heads. And all of this is water resistant down to 300 meters. The silicone hairspring making it anti-magnetic. The 50 Fathoms you may not have known existed, and possibly the best match for the smaller wrist or those with a taste for discretion. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. One more note. Blancpain now claims that the latest versions of this movement feature a date that cannot be damaged if set at any time of day. But because it's not clear when they made that change, I recommend consulting with them, giving them the serial number, and verifying before you try that particular party trick. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for everything else.